Welcome back, everybody. Can't wait to get into today's show of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. Excited to be sharing today's topic, which is how the most successful coaches plan their day. So I know that there's been a lot of requests to say, like, what does the ideal day look like? A lot of people love watching videos on YouTube, et cetera, of people's morning routines and what an average day looks like. What I want to share with you is just a summary of what I've seen a lot of health coaches that could include, or health practitioners will say, let's say it's in the fitness industry, personal trainers, strength coaches, it might be chiropractors, we might have acupuncturists, we might be talking about integrative health practitioners, et cetera. Like, how do they plan their day? Because when you think about it, what are you doing with your day? Well, the biggest part of your day is that you are creating some type of program for an individual that you are then meeting with and taking them through that. So it really doesn't matter, again, like if you're an acupuncture, personal trainer, integrative health practitioner, health coach, et cetera, like every day you have 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 different appointments. And each one of those people, you're giving them a plan that hopefully is bio-individualized, meaning like it's individualized for them of what they need. And it might take you 5 minutes of prep. It might take an hour of prep. And we teach a lot of that inside of IHP. We teach it inside of the business mentorship experience. But the truth is this, is like that is the cornerstone of what you do for your career. Your goal is to help people, right? So in order to help them, you're meeting with them virtually or in person, or you might even be teaching, right, to a larger group. But with that comes some prep, right? So that's like how I look at it. That's the majority of your day because that's how you get to the end goal, which is helping the individual, which is why they come to you, which is then why you do a great job and you get referrals and you continue to build your practice. Okay, so then on top of that, what are you doing? Well, you're returning emails, right? Like you're returning messages or emails from people that need your help. And maybe you're overseeing other parts of your program, or should say practice. And then you might be creating content on social media to be able to get new clients, get in front of new clients so that they contact you, right? And then maybe some like website tweaks, et cetera. So like that's the overall part of your business. And I think it's important to understand that because the truth is that the very best practitioners in the world, very best health coaches in the world, know the critical few things that they need to do in order to be successful. And success is different in everybody's mind. But for the most part, it pretty much means you've got to practice at the level that you want it at. So whether it's 10 appointments a week or 40 appointments a week, you've reached that level and that's success for you. And like, who is anybody else to tell you that that's not an appropriate level of success, right? You're helping people. That's what it's all about. So the problem is that most coaches do too many things that just simply don't matter. They really don't. And I was there myself. Like in the beginning, you always do too much and a lot of it doesn't matter at all. Like it really doesn't. You're focused on things that do not move the needle. One of my favorite things is like, what moves the needle, right? It's like, what really moves the needle in your practice? So for me, like what moves the needle is I need to get people better results, right? That's like how it started in the beginning, because I know if that happens, then they're going to be happy and they're going to tell other people. Like just immediately, every person that was in my practice, whether it was a husband or a wife, or whether they were single or not, well, let's say it was family-wise, they would always then bring their kids in, right? Or they would bring their significant other in. And if it was a young professional, they might recommend their girlfriend, boyfriend, et cetera, come into my practice, right? So it was like, that's what I had to do. So in the beginning, I was studying a lot, right? Like that's what I was doing. I was researching and studying. And when you're first starting out, you always should be modeling other practitioners' protocols that they've shown to work. And then you can always tweak it based on your own desires, right? So that's a really big part of it. But the truth is, and I want to share with you, and this is what I really want to impress upon you, it's not about doing more. Once you get to a certain level, it's how few things, not how little time, but how few things can you do well, because you can only focus on so many things that you put into your schedule. The next part is actually looking at your schedule like little Lego blocks. I've shown this inside of IHP and the business mentorship experience many, many times. But that's how you have to look at it. So I'm going to link up a few podcasts here today. So go to ihp.coach/168. The first one I'm going to link up is actually a Cabral concept podcast called Throw Away Your To-Do List and Do This Instead. Because when you think about it, and I try to tell this to a lot of coaches. For every hour you have meeting with a client, you probably want a half hour of prep time, right? So every hour you want a half hour. Now that's the maximum for most people to prep. And later, maybe it's like 0.25, it's 25%. So it's like 15 minutes on every hour, right? But you need that. Like you absolutely need it. So let's say you're doing 4 hours a day with clients. Now, personal trainers may not need as much. And the reason is that they probably create a program potentially that lasts for 4 weeks for a client, right? So they may not be switching it for each time, but it still matters because you might sit down and need an hour once a month. So you can kind of think about it however you want. That would equal, once a week, that would equal, about that 15 minutes per appointment. So think about it like this. If you're doing an 8-hour day, you might need 2 hours of prep time. If you're doing a 6-hour day, what do you need? Somewhere like 90 minutes, right? That's not an unreasonable amount. You might have like an hour to start your day and then like 30 minutes before your afternoon appointments. That's not unreasonable at all to create those programs, protocols, review labs if you're an IHP level 2, et cetera, because you're using the templates that we prepare for you or that you've already created yourself. So that's absolutely realistic. Okay, so now you're already starting to plan your day. Good. You know that for each number of appointments, you need this amount of prep time to review your client notes, et cetera. It depends on of what you're doing. For massage, you probably don't need a half hour of prep time. I get it. I understand it. But if you're someone that does like some type of kinesiology-based work and you're doing maybe some taping or like kinesio taping or functional range conditioning or something else, you may need a little bit of prep time, right? You might need to actually review the client's program. It just depends on where you're at and what your tasks are, but that should be built in no matter what. What I used to do when I was personal training back in the day and doing strength and conditioning, I would plan basically a half a day. Like it would be like Sunday afternoon for like 3 or 4 hours. And I would do that once a week for all of my clients that were coming into new programs. So let's say I had like 30 clients. Okay, so what would that be? I'll keep having to do hard math for myself. So it'd be like 8, let's say it was between 6 and 8 clients each Sunday I'd be creating new programs for as to where they were at in their program. And so what does that equal? That equals, about 30 minutes to 45 minutes or so per program. That seems about right. Because again, I've been doing it many years, so it's easier to create them. But you want to build that into your schedule. Now, what did I talk about? So that's basically how to keep clients happy. Now you need to return emails. You shouldn't do that all day long. You should do it maybe 3 times a day. Morning, sometime you decide after your critical work is done, and then you're doing it maybe at lunch, and then you're doing it maybe end of the day. How long do you need? I don't know. It depends on how many clients you have. If you only have 20 clients, you probably don't need to schedule out, an hour or 2 hours. But you'll probably want to do 20 minutes, maybe morning, at lunch and then end of the day, and then you're done. And so, okay, that's 1 hour a day. So you have that scheduled. And then you'll probably want to create content. Okay, how long does that take? Well, maybe you block it once a week. Again, we teach that in the business mentorship experience, and that's once a week you batch your content. But maybe you're going to do 30 minutes a day and you're doing that in the morning, and then you're maybe returning direct messages at night. Okay, so that's kind of like the lifeblood of bringing in new clients. But like that's really the majority of the things that you should be doing. Now, there's all the other things that go along with your business, like accounting and ordering things and whatever it might be. And a lot of times you're doing that as busy work and it's happening all day long. And I'm telling you right now is like the most successful people don't do all of that stuff. They really don't. Because once your practice gets going, you are hiring people. And that's what I'm going to do right now is link up another podcast we did on creating or hiring a virtual assistant and building out a team. All right. So that's at that's at ihp.coach/168. That's where we're going to put all of the links today. All right. So what you're going to do is you don't need to hire people full time, but think about it. Let's say that you are, let's say you're charging $100 an hour. Let's just say that. Okay. So let's say you're doing 3 appointments a day. So you're at $300 times 5. What's that? $1,500. That's $6,000 a month. That's $72,000 a year, right? I think the math on that's correct. And then that doesn't include all of the different ambassadorships that you might be making another $20,000, $30,000 to make a really good income. Like that's on 3 appointments a day. So maybe that's what you're doing. But the truth is this, so at that point, why don't you take a little stress off yourself and you can hire a great person to be able to do some part-time bookkeeping or to be able to do any type of ordering for you or even to help with just like email support, not answering someone's questions, but like, hey, how do I download my lab? How do I do this? How do I do that? eventually that is where you get to. And I wanted to share that with you because that's how the most successful coaches really schedule their day. They're not answering their phone. They're not doing all of these things. They have all of those things in place with a virtual assistant or 2 or 3 that's helping them. So, and they're paying those people good money. Maybe they're paying them $20 an hour, but you're making 100, right? Like, so it's like you get to arbitrage that because you've created a specific skill for yourself because you're certified in something that someone wants and needs, and you've gotten them great results, right? So that's what you can do. And then what it allows you to do is to do what you love to do. That's always what I've done. So like I've always had someone to help out with my email because it was like, I just don't like email, like for whatever reason. I don't know if I had a bad experience. I don't know what it was. I don't like answering email. And so like, but I don't mind answering a direct message. That's a nice thing. Now again, I'm unable to answer all of them. Like I get 1,000 between Facebook, Instagram, the groups, direct messages, like everything. There's over 1,000 touch points a day, email, etc. So I have a great team that's able to help with those things. But the thing is, I get to do what I love to do, right? And so that's what I want you to do. Like, if you love working with clients and you love reading and researching and you love creating your protocols and you love creating your content, well, then that's what you're doing. Like, that's what you do with your time, and you schedule your day that way. And it doesn't matter if you have a half day to work from 9:30 to 12:30 every day or 9:30 to 1:30 before you might pick up the kids or after school things, whatever it might be. You can get a lot of work done in 4 hours a day. Like legitimately, you can do 2 to 3 appointments with prep, and you can batch your content for like 1 day a week. Or if you need to, outsource some of your content. Now, it's can't outsource you on video, of course, but you can certainly outsource graphics and different things like that. So just don't think that you can't. You can, especially if you can sneak back a half hour at night to be able to answer those emails, direct messages, or to put up some content. It can be done. It really, without a doubt, it can be. Like even during the 4 hours from 9:30 to 1:30, you can do 2 appointments. That's 2 hours. Maybe it's 4 half hours, and you have 2 hours. One could be creating programs and protocols, an hour for content and returning messages. You can absolutely do that. Like you can make it happen. But the thing is, what you can't do is waste your time. Now, again, like I'm not saying the extra things to do are a waste of time. They're not. But you can't waste your valuable time doing what you love to do in the specific skill that you have that gets people the results that they want. That is how you build a career that not only helps an amazing amount of people, but that you love doing. And that's a big part of it as well. Hopefully today's show was helpful. If there's any questions, of course, let us know in the comments. You can email us at support@ihp.coach. And for all of today's additional continuing ed podcasts, head on over to ihp.coach/168. Take care, everybody. Talk with you soon.